Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the 808 podcast where I interview business owners, CEOs, marketing directors, whoever else I feel like. It is 4 questions in 8 minutes, 8 seconds because 808 looks like Bob. And here we go. Question number 1 in a few sentences. Tell us who you are and what do you do?
Yeah, my name is Roy Edwards. I am the COO and president of Capital Presence, and we are a business process reengineering organization built on DevOps, and we help businesses streamline their business processes.
You've done that before. You've said that before, haven't you, Roy?
Once or twice.
Yeah, once or twice. I love it there. Question number 2, what advice would you like to share? Go.
Yeah. So automation is simpler than you think. So a lot, and your business isn't special. Those are 2 things that I like to tell people. So first off, don't try to automate things right away. Break it down. You want to start with identification. You want to see what it is that you're trying to automate and what is the purpose of doing so. What are some things that you're doing on a repetitive basis? How can you capture that through, maybe it's through questions, qualifiers, forms, etc. Then you want to go over governance, what types of things should be happening and why. Then and only then do you start to talk of automation and any type of self-functionality around the process.
So what are some things that like people should start automating now? Like if you were to tell like general like part there, what was something people should automate and how do they do it?
Man, you should automate anything that you're doing more than once. So, right. and like I said before, automation doesn't mean that you go straight to a bot or straight to any sort of computer doing it, right? The simplest form of automation is creating a template. It could be copying, pasting an email that you send constantly over and over and over again. Maybe you don't want that email to come from a bot or come from some automated computer, but at the same time, you don't want to, type out that same 200-word email over and over again. So really, you could just put it out in a Word document or put it on a notepad or whatever, and then copy and paste it into the next email that you have to send out. That is in itself automation. And that's step, 2, as in capture. What am I capturing? That could be templated emails, that can be questions. If there are certain things that, like you doing this podcast, right? You have a couple questions that you want to ask people. Writing those down and sending those out, that in its sense is automation as well, because it's something you're going to repetitively do it. You're going to constantly be doing it. So you want to capture it somewhere, put it somewhere to make it easier on yourself.
Love it. Love it there. Let's get to question number 3. It is time for shout outs. Who are you shouting out, Roy?
Yeah. So I'm an Arte Syndicate. So really anybody who refs Arte Syndicate, anybody who's in that, but I'll give a quick shout out to Nate Peo. That's my guy over there. And then Joey Yak. If you guys know Joey Yak, he's doing some really awesome things with video production. And then, of course, Corey Barrier and Callie Keen, those guys over there, 7 Figure Sales, are doing big things.
Love it. Love it there. It's time for question number 4, the final fun question. Roy, tell me about your first sale.
Yeah. So first sale for Capital Presence came from word of mouth. So I'm a big believer in word of mouth marketing. If you're first starting out, which if you're going to make your first sale, I assume you're just starting out, but it came from word of mouth. It came from somebody that I had done business with prior to at a different organization or, somewhere earlier in my professional career. And it came from word of mouth, and we still utilize word of mouth marketing. We incentivize it with our end clients, and it's something that I hold very near and dear. So we push word of mouth marketing pretty hard around here. And that's something that a lot of people don't think about is when they're first starting out, is you want to tap into your resources, tap into people you already know instead of trying to make a cold sale.
Yeah, I totally get it. See, I look at word of mouth marketing. It's like, it's basically it's farming. There's only so much you can prune on it there. You still got to go out there and, knock on doors.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've done business with them once or they trust and like you, you're more than halfway there.
Absolutely. Love it there. So, hey, Corey, Roy, you said Corey before. That's where I got the name. So Roy, oops, there we go. So you've got 4 minutes and 5 seconds left.
Look at that. 4 minutes and 5 seconds.
Yep. You can do some promo time. You can ask me a question. You can talk about the weather or the guitar behind you, whatever you want. I'm flexible. Or since the best know when to end, when to be precise, when to end early, we end early. Go for it.
Yeah. So the guitar behind me, you don't want to know about. I'm not the greatest guitar player on the planet. I own a guitar, can't play it very well. I know a few different songs, but for the most part, you don't want me talking about or picking up or playing the guitar at all.
Then moving on. Next thing. No.
Yeah. So, Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing right now is just making sure that people understand where to start with automation, right?
Mhm.
So identifying those processes, your first 3 steps that anyone should be focusing on are identification, capture, and governance, right? That's really where you want to stand. That's where you want to put the majority of your time. And then from there, after you get to capture and you get the governance, then you can take action, right?
Right.
But you can't even take action. You can't even get into the automation stage. You can't even start talking about technology or bots or RPAs or any of the other fun things that you get into when you start talking about technology and business process automation and robotic process automation and all that other stuff. Slow down before you even try and do that, before you even shop technology, before you even shop a consultant. Capture what you're doing, and you could do it as simple as just like a screen grab or record yourself. That could be a phone recording, that could be an audio recording, it could be a video recording of whatever it is that you're doing constantly, and you want to make sure that you are capturing those before you try and enter in technology.
Well, absolutely. You got to know what you're looking for before you go shopping.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people don't think that though. They'll try to go straight to the tech and what's the coolest thing out there? What's the new thing? Slow down. Write it down first. I have people drawing napkins, even just a couple squares and some arrows. That's all you really need, to be honest, to get started.
Let's really dumb it down. Does anyone ever go to the grocery store? There's like, refrigerator's empty. I'm going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
You have a plan before you go to the grocery store. At least I hope you do.
Right. Because if you don't, then you're going to end up with some of the wrong things, and you might not even have the appropriate tools or food in this instance to cook a dinner. Right. Yeah. Maybe you went there and you ended up with Oreos and some other stuff, and you wanted to make a chicken dinner. Right. But you just went to the grocery store, no planning, didn't have the ingredients, what it is that we were trying to cook. You didn't have any of that written down. That's the kind of stuff that you want to be talking about when you get to automation. Automation is that end dinner that you want to build out, right? You want to create, but how do you get there? What ingredients do you need to get there? And that's where the capture area comes in.
Perfect. Yeah. Hey, you pulled it off, Roy. 4 questions in 8 minutes and 8 seconds. Roy, why is it 8 minutes and 8 seconds?
Because the 808 looks like Bob.
Perfect. Hey, what's your website? Say it real quick.
Yeah, capitalpresence.com.
It's in the description. It's magic. Roy, thank you so much for being on. Tip of the hat to you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And for everyone else watching or listening, I am legally required to tell you to like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, whatever the heck the social media network tells you to do. You all have a good day. Now, talk to you later. Bye.